The Downfall of Blockbuster. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation, there is sure to be failure. Confucius. This quote perfectly describes what happened to Blockbuster. They were not prepared for change, and because of that, they failed. Planning ahead is key to staying successful, especially in business. If a company isn't watching trends or thinking ahead, it's easy to fall behind. The business world is always moving forward. If you don't move with it, you get left behind. Many of us remember Blockbuster. It was more than just a store, it was an experience. You'd go with your family or your friends to pick out a movie or a game for the weekend. It was exciting. Sometimes you'd end up getting something completely different than you planned just because it looked fun. But as time passed, people stopped going. Technology made streaming too easy. Netflix and other services took over. Blockbuster just couldn't keep up, and it slowly disappeared. Our group chose Blockbuster because we all had memories of going there, whether it was choosing between DVDs or VHS tapes, running into people from school, or rushing to grab the last copy of a new movie. It was a fun part of growing up. That's why we wanted to understand how such a big company could fall apart. It was such a huge part of our childhood, and now it's almost completely gone. That's something worth looking into. Learning from this helps us understand why some companies survive and why others don't. Blockbuster failed because of bad choices, problems inside the company, and not planning for the future. The people in charge didn't prepare for changes in technology, and that caused the company to close. Let's start with the decisions Blockbuster made and how they missed important chances to change. Blockbuster made bad choices because their leaders were affected by biases, like only seeing things that match their own beliefs, confirmation bias, and thinking they couldn't fail, overconfidence. In 2000, Netflix offered to work with Blockbuster. They wanted to team up and build an online movie rental service, but Blockbuster said no. Why, you may ask? They thought Netflix wasn't important. They believed people would always want to visit the store instead of renting movies online. This was confirmation bias. They only saw what they wanted to believe. They couldn't imagine a world where people didn't go to a movie store if it didn't fit their picture of success. They thought their current success meant they didn't need to change anything. Blockbuster was also too overconfident. They thought they could beat Netflix anytime. They believed their brand and stores were enough. Because of this, they ignored the way technology was changing the way people watched movies. They thought they had more time than they did. But as we've seen, change can happen quickly. And in business, waiting too long can cost everything. So Blockbuster made bad decisions. But they also had problems inside the company. Let's look at how that played a part.
Blockbuster also had problems with how the company was run. The people in charge couldn't agree on how to respond to change, and teams inside the company didn't work well together. The company was slow to change. Some teams wanted to update systems, some didn't. People weren't on the same page. This made it hard for Blockbuster to compete with faster, more flexible companies like Netflix. It's like trying to steer a big ship when everyone's rowing in different directions. It just doesn't work. If teams don't communicate or work together, progress becomes nearly impossible. In today's world, being fast and flexible is really important for companies to survive. At the top, Blockbuster's leaders were divided. Some wanted to invest in streaming, others wanted to keep doing things the old way, with stores and late fees. These disagreements slowed them down and made them miss important chances to grow. Instead of working together on a clear plan, they spent too much time stuck in the past. Next, let's talk about leadership. The choices made by Blockbuster's leaders had a huge effect on what happened next. Blockbuster's leadership didn't look ahead and failed to take advantage of the rise of the internet, which contributed to their downfall. Good leaders observed trends and listened to everyone. By 2007, file sharing and internet streaming were growing fast, but Blockbuster didn't see the potential of the internet. They didn't think people would stop going to stores, but that's exactly what happened. They didn't realize people were looking for more convenience, and that's what Netflix delivered. If the leaders had taken this seriously, they could have told shareholders and made a plan to change. Instead of being proactive, planning ahead, they were reactive. They waited too long, and by the time they tried to catch up, it was too late. Netflix had already taken the lead, and blockbusters couldn't keep up. Strong leaderships and teamwork are key to success. If a company ignores change, it risks falling behind. Blockbuster's story is a reminder that leadership isn't just about being in charge. It's about making smart moves before it's too late. To sum up, Blockbuster failed because of bad decisions, disagreements inside the company, and leaders who didn't plan for the future. They didn't understand how fast technology was changing, and that caused their downfall. Blockbuster had chances to stay on top. They could have worked with Netflix. They could have gone digital sooner, but they were overconfident and too slow to change. They thought they were unbeatable, but no one is unbeatable forever. Their story shows how important it is to act early and be open to new ideas. If they had been ready for the future, maybe we would still be renting movies from Blockbuster instead of streaming from Netflix. Imagine if they had made the right move, we might be watching Blockbuster originals right now. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope you enjoyed learning about Blockbuster's story and how important it is for business to grow, listen, and adapt with the times. This is more than just a story about a movie rental store. It's a lesson about change, decisions, and what happens when you don't evolve. Blockbuster's fall reminds us that success isn't permanent, and that planning for the future is everything. Here is the first page reference, and here is the second reference page.